Hello, everybody. Welcome to Narrative Live on a Friday night at 7 p.m. It's so good to be with you, and especially you, LB and Greg Oliar. It's Bannon Indictment Day. I cannot believe we're here. It's absolutely unbelievable. I don't be overexcited and over-exuberant, but I didn't know this day was coming, and here we are. How you guys doing? Nice to see you together again. How are you doing, LB? Let's start off with you.
I'm good. I have a bad head cold.
Oh, no.
Excuse
You're doing a lot.
everything. Yeah, I'm back in California, so that's really nice. But I'm happy to be here with you guys. I've missed you.
Yes, well, I've missed you too. Yeah. Greg, how are you doing?
I'm feeling good, Zev. I'm feeling more masculine. I don't know about you. I'm feeling more masculine. Yeah. I started listening to Josh Hawley's podcast, and I've been watching a lot of Josh Hawley footage, and I'm trying to emulate. You know,
I see with the hair. The hair thing is very Josh Hawley-esque, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I like it.
I've got the flip going. Yeah. I've started when I kiss my wife. I go like this. When I kiss her, you know, like because I think that's incredibly masculine.
It is very masculine.
It's a very masculine way of kissing, and you know, when I'm walking by, like I go to the deli and I'll get a coffee or something. When I see like just dudes hanging out there, I'll give them the fist up like this. You know, I'll just do that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
that's what Americans do. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's how we greet each other. You know. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty masculine tonight.
And of course, you've been talking a lot about Tucker Carlson as well, another icon of masculinity. And so, you know, you've certainly immersed yourself in this new world of hyper-American conservative masculinity.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's Tuckerstan is what we call it. It's a good place.
So your evolution is noticeable. I just want you to know that. We're noticing that you're becoming more and more masculine all the time, as every American should be, according to these two. Your podcast was good today. I didn't hear all of it because I got distracted by the fact that Steve Bannon was indicted. But tell everyone what was on it.
Well, we talked Nia Molinari, who is a contributor at Prevail. She wrote a piece last week about Tucker, and I wrote a piece this week about Tucker. Because Tucker's important. And Tucker, you know, he's a guy who I think everybody kind of knows who he is, but few people have really gone past the surface with him. And I think it's time. I think he's really dangerous. I think he's basically a lead propagandist. I mean, this week he was arguing with someone in debate about Russia versus Ukraine. And he said, well, why would we take Ukraine's side? Why? Of course we take Russia's side.
I noticed that.
And we're like, we know Tucker. We know. Settle down. It's not the first time he's been, you know, pro Russia in these spats, but you know, this guy is the primetime Fox News guy. He's their guy. He's their golden boy, right?
Yeah.
And so for him to be this overtly pro dictator, as with his sad, sycophantic display with Viktor Orban in Hungary. Viktor Orban, who's Viktor Orban? LB, remind me who Viktor Orban is.
Viktor Orban is a bag man.
For who?
How's that? For Mogilevich.
Oh, that guy. I've heard of him.
And then he became president. Oops.
Of Hungary.
Like, magical.
Yeah. Right there.
And he used to be kind of a liberal Democrat, and then he, you know, got the money and went to the dark side, and that's where. So you have this. Tucker's talking about anti-vaccine stuff, and then this movie that he made, Patriot Burge, which is basically a propaganda piece trying to write history about the insurrection. So this is a dangerous guy. He's not the little twerp in the bow tie anymore. It's somebody we have to take seriously. And when you go back and look at his sad life. I say sad because it is sad when one's mother abandons one when one is 6, leaving the country never to see them again. And then when she dies, leaves you $1 in her will. That's sad. It is. I'm not even joking.
I didn't know that. That is legitimately sad. I did not know that about Tucker. So that's interesting.
And his father was also abandoned by his mother. So there's this generational abandonment by mother thing going on.
That's why you have a hyper masculinity, because you're compensating for something, obviously.
That's right. That's right. You know what Tucker's dad's name is, right?
No, what is Tucker's?
Dick. Of course it's Dick. It has to be
no
Dick.
Ways.
Dick
Tucker?
Dick Carlson. Dick Carlson.
Oh, Dick Carlson, sorry.
But, you know, he goes by Dick because, of course, he does.
Okay, well, there you go. William, I'm sure. No, not William. That's Bill. What is Dick? Richard. Sorry. Oh, I'm slow today. I'm trying to find out. to find out some new details here because I see that on Monday, Bannon is actually going to be handing himself over to authorities, which will be an interesting thing. It's not the first time he's done it, but boy, it's going to be nice to see this time when there is no Bill Barr in the Justice Department to help the guy out and maybe drop the charges or give him a pardon, as Donald Trump did at the very end. This is a different Department of Justice. And today, Bannon was indicted, 2 counts of contempt of Congress. Each of those charges, by the way, each of those counts comes with a maximum term of 1 year in prison plus $1,000 each for each charge. I mean, I'm sure the money doesn't make a big difference to him, but 2 years in prison, that could be annoying. That could be annoying for a dude. And then we'll see on Monday.
He's going to love it.
You think he's going to love a year? I don't know. I think people like to think that he's going to be amazed by this, but you think he's going to love being in jail?
I think he likes a lot of luxurious things,
Yes.
but I also don't think he notices if he's sitting in a bath of meth. Like, so I don't think, I'm not sure he knows the difference between this stuff, or if he does, it's, it's just for some weird reason. And I think he would love becoming this sort of folk hero and have this story, and he'd probably like do a hunger strike or something. Like
make a lot of money. There'll be lots of 1-800 free Steve.
He's got a lot of reserves there.
Yeah,
he's got some reserves. I think this is a guy who I think would enjoy that and would wear that as sort of his badge of whatever and burnish it. So I don't think he's given anything over. I don't think he's afraid of prison. I think he would go and do it. He's no Tom Barrack, right? Tom Barrack's not doing that.
Well, I think it's important here to note that he doesn't even have to hand anything over. This is just a penalty for not having done it. There's no one's forcing him to hand over anything. He can be found guilty. He'll still not need to hand over.
Found guilty? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
don't do it. Keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Don't do anything. Go do the time. Get out in 8 months and be a hero.
Right. But he's still not going to like being in jail. And I would be quite happy to see him go to jail regardless of whether he's going to enjoy it or not. I think it is about time the administration, or that former administration, had some penalties. And, people are going to justify this as, this is just about him not handing over documents to the committee. No, this is about him covering up for the coup that happened, or the coup attempt that happened on January the 6th. I mean, he is a chief strategist behind that whole event in those weeks leading up to it. So, yes, the official reason is that he's because he didn't hand over documents and didn't show up for testimony, but he didn't do all of that because he's terrified of what will be revealed about him if he did go in front of Congress and have to tell what really happened. So, I think that even if he went up and showed up and said and pled the fifth, I don't think it would be very effective for him either. But the reality of it is his awareness of a crime that took place on January the 6th makes him complicit. And the fact that he organized the crime makes him complicit. And, this is a good reason why you wouldn't hand over anything to the committee. So, we've got to reframe this a little bit beyond just the documents and the Congress. Yeah, you're
exactly right. We should. But he is selling this as a non-crime.
Yes.
He is selling. So he's fine being charged because all of the semantics and all the propaganda and everything he gets to whip up around that it's a wet dream for this guy. I'm happy for these indictments. I'm thrilled for it. It's great. Go to prison. There need to be more. I hope it doesn't stop at him, because then he becomes a hero. And then with the indictments, they're already freaking out, right? At least Stefanik is spewing lies about it all already. They were sort of ready to go with all their talking points that are all horseshit and conflating things with Eric Holder, because they know that they know better. She knows better, but she knows that their whole radicalized core and their base, which is millions upon millions of people now, can't parse the difference in that, don't care about the truth, don't care about facts, don't care about information. They just care about their grievance and their rage and being fed red meat. And they just, that's it. They're in their thing and they want to stay in their thing. But more and more indictments come down, more and more crimes come out. It starts getting covered a little bit more aggressively and more honestly, which I think that will happen. I'm hopeful for that. We start liberating these. A lot of people will start distancing themselves then. They're going to start going, I don't know about this Civil War thing.
We could also play the narrative. We can play the narrative war. I mean, they've come at us. We know what they're going to do. We know that they're already underplaying this. They're calling it the deep state. The counter strike to that is telling everyone that it isn't the deep state. That in fact, this was the most significant crime in American history. That these guys are complicit. That they killed police officers. That they stormed the Capitol and they brought a Confederate flag into the Capitol and soiled the place in an attempt to kill the Vice President of the United States and the Speaker of the House. I mean, that's what happened on that day. And we should remind people that that's what he's going to jail for if he's found guilty in this indictment.
It was a violent insurrection.
Yeah.
I mean, but yes and no. I mean, I know everyone's excited about this, and I don't want to throw cold water on everyone's excitement. But my thing is, I'm good on Merrick Garland for finally coming through. Okay.
Yes.
And indicting him. Great. But in practical terms, he is not being indicted for anything to do with January 6th. He's being indicted because he didn't show up for the subpoena. That's what he's being indicted for. Okay. He's going to go this weekend and hang out and do his thing that he does. He's going to have his leprous face on his stupid podcast that we're going to be able to watch. He'll probably record a bunch of them that we can just watch.
I'm sure he's got him in the bank. Yeah.
He's going to turn himself in on Monday. He'll probably evade the stuff that is he going to get bail? Yeah. The judge is a Trump guy who his name is Nichols. He's from Rhinebeck. He's from up here, so maybe there's hope on that front. But he clerked for Clarence Thomas. He's worked at some law firms that maybe aren't optimistically minded. So okay, that's it. We're so far afield of where we need to be that Twitter, like our camp of Twitter, is so excited about this. And I don't want to spoil everybody's excitement, but like, this is such a minor fucking thing in the grand scheme of what happened. I hope it's the signal of what's coming, but this feels like, we're down 56-0 in a football game and we kick a field goal and everyone's celebrating. We have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go. I take all of that. I don't think you're raining on a parade, but what I want to add to that is we were on the precipice we had been pushed to, because we've now even adhering to a congressional subpoena was being presented as just some norm that you could ignore, right? And so finally, for the first time since the Hatch Act is apparently
37 years, apparently.
The Logan Act is apparently a norm, because since the beginning of the all the way back when we knew crimes were being committed during Trump's campaign, Donald's campaign. It's taken all this time for there to be from the Justice Department something that said, no, actually, laws are laws. And it's a lawful subpoena that Congress has issued to not just this guy, but to 19 other people, I think, or 18 other people, and that must be obeyed. And if you don't obey it, there will be consequences, criminal consequences for you within the realm of the law. And we needed that because everything was being treated. Now we have, I'm not trying to jump ahead or jump into a weird direction, but we also have this fake crying teenager, right? Or whatever, man-child on the stand saying that committing, murder that's just a norm.
Right.
Yeah. You can't convict me for that because I was there for my people and my side. And in my heart, I didn't, I was just helping people, and I was there to help people in self-defense. And he might even have a really good self-defense case, right? Everyone knows who I'm talking about. But it's still this treatment of our laws, of our rule of law, as if it's just something that is just was this accepted norm, and we can, and if you want to ignore it, you can ignore it, and there won't be any consequences.
Especially if you're white. You can do.
Oh, you got to be white.
Yeah.
So
that's the only way to do it.
Right. I think that this was why it feels so good is. Everyone was starting to go a little crazy. It's like, have we just been imagining this America thing?
Right.
Have we just been imagining this Constitution? Has this just all been a conversation we've all been in? And there's actually nothing. If you just say, blah, schma, forget it. I'm not showing up, or I'm not doing what you tell me to do. And you can get away with that. Right. So I think that we had to have that at least come. Can
we underline how important that is? We have not had rule of law in America for the last few years. And what you're saying is so critical that, we finally have especially when it comes to the legislative branch. We've now got a branch with some teeth that appear to actually able to do something with this particular indictment. I mean, it is significant. The Trump administration has done a lot, and previous presidencies have done a lot to weaken the legislative branch, and now they're bringing it back. We're giving it some balance to our power, and I think that's really important. Not to mention the fact that Stephen Bannon is one of these untouchable people who never gets in trouble. Well, he gets in trouble, but he gets out of trouble pretty easily. And now he's no longer untouchable. So I think there's something significant in that. And I think there's something good happening at the DOJ. I think the Michael Graves, is that his name, the new attorney who's just
Graves.
sworn in? It's under him that this is happening. This is his first indictment, his first big thing that he's done. He's only been on the job for a couple of days. I think that's significant too. So I think you're saying, new leadership there is going to make a huge difference, because I don't know who the old guy was, but I can't imagine that they were, that friendly to the Democrats.
I hope so.
So it's some
I
good
hope
news.
so too. And again, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. What you said is absolutely true. We do need rule of law. Thank goodness that, we've been gaslit all this time into believing, there's no laws at all. They just don't apply. Yeah. And now maybe it'll apply. And now if they actually do go after him and put him in jail, other people will honor the subpoenas. They'll be like, oh shit, I don't want, people don't want to go to jail generally. It's not
and it's
fun.
expensive.
It's expensive, and there's long-term consequences. Like you can't vote. There's all these horrible things happen. Even for some little thing, you go to jail for a week. It's not pleasant. It's not great. It doesn't look good on your CV, unless I suppose you're going to be on the Bannon's podcast network or.
Well, who's going to hire you afterwards? Really, but, I mean,
but like I don't. I need more from Merrick Garland though before I start, giving him his pat on the back and as well, because people are saying the narrative is out there and it's infuriating. Having lived through the Mueller thing is, well, don't be critical, just be silent and keep faith, because if you keep faith and you believe in Merrick Garland,
guy in justice is going to save the day. Yeah, I'm sick of that.
It's like, look, if I want to hear stories about how the Savior will return to judge the living and the dead, I'll go to fucking church. I need indictments here. So this is a great start. Let's have more, and let's have them in connection with the fucking insurrection. This is not in connection with that. This is with a very specific, obviously illegal thing. Nobody gets to ignore a subpoena. It's a fucking subpoena by the goddamn Congress. It's illegal to ignore it.
Yeah.
Derp. I have to have legal Twitter explain this to me, why that would be. No, of course it's illegal. Arrest the guy. But it doesn't have anything to do with the actual crime, the big lie thing.
And it is the main investigation into that crime. This is the investigation into it.
We've been denied. We have been denied. And it's like we're starving. It's like that crappy show, The OA, where like they're starving to death and they have this terrible ham sandwich. They're like, oh my God, a ham sandwich. We need more than that. We need more than one. This isn't enough.
This isn't enough.
Better be the start. And I'm not up to, I hope that everything goes well Monday, because I fear, LB, that it's going to be counterbalanced by what might happen with that case with that. I don't even want to talk about that kid, because I hate someone as much as I hate him. It makes me uncomfortable.
I can talk about it, but I quite enjoyed the topic because he's I don't think it's as bad as people are.
Before we pivot over there,
we don't want to pivot there.
I want to say this.
Yeah.
The thing that needs to happen now, and just hear me on this as the person who gets the culture of organized crime and understands when that the people who glamorize gangsters actually turn and run away. Mm-hmm. So the thing that needs to happen now is SDNY and New York need to come down like a ton of bricks on Donald. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff I'm waiting for. I know there are people who like why don't you want the insurrection though, our Constitution and democracy? Yeah, save democracy. I've been the one going, oh my God, tyranny. Oh no, here we go, fascism, it's coming. But you know what? How to take out the strong man? You dismantle the criminal organization underneath and behind him, and then expose that, and people go, oh, he was just a fraud. He was just a con. Oh my God, he lied here, he lied there. And I know people are radicalized to his base and they're all in that. But what happens is the discourse can't combat that. They can't just say, oh, it's the evil people at SDNY. They're out to get Donald. It's like, no, here's 450,000 counts of fraud, right? Like he's just a fraudster, right? It really does beat back all of the horseshit narratives when you have financial crimes and fraud and criminal activity, and especially if you find some really filthy global criminals in there. Like, come on. That's what we need.
And if you have a commission that's actually getting information from everyone involved in the insurrection because they are terrified of being, indicted, then maybe they'll also provide a lot of information about what Donald Trump did that day and his entire organization of outlaws who were there. There's not going to be a lot of people wanting to go into this.
Someone can declassify his files. He's got some old ancient files.
Yes.
There's no reason they need to remain. We can pull the ripcord on that finally too. This whole thing can come tumbling down in a very meanful way.
I mean, think about it. In the insurrection, we didn't have any witnesses. In the two impeachment impeachment trials, we had no witnesses. Now we're going to have witnesses for the first time in front of Congress in incredible detail, outlining how this administration tried to overthrow the incoming government and overthrow the will of the people in meticulous detail, because we know so much about it. We know what happened at the Willard Hotel. We know the war room that they had there. We know that all these people were conspiring, that were threatening to all these local Republican state lawmakers and also federal lawmakers to overturn the vote, the pressure on Mike Pence, the attempt to assassinate Mike Pence. All this stuff is going to be crystal clear as these guys go through every second of that with every single one of these officials when they show up. I mean, it's going to be incredibly riveting watching. We've not had any. I mean, compared the actual drama of the crime of the Watergate crime versus this. I mean, that's the nearest thing we've had is Watergate, and that was a simple break-in. Now you've got a major attack on the Capitol. I mean, involving thousands of people, some of them armed. You've got all these people organizing for weeks and weeks and funneling money into this. From Adelson, from all these other organizations. I mean, I think that once we start unwrapping that for everybody, it's going to be stunning. And there'll be testimony that everyone can see for themselves from his own officials in Congress, probably in prime time, all the way heading into the next election. It's not going to be necessarily a good look for the Republicans either, heading into the next poll. So
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm a little hopeful there. Thank you. I'm trying to lift your spirits
up. Well done. Very well done. And that's going to be about sense of urgency and speed. It can't move at the pace that we moved to get to here. We're in November. It can't move at that pace. The pace has to.
And we only have until next November. But also we need to start pushing this a counter narrative that is that strong, that is that powerful, because that's exactly what's going on. This is exactly the truth of what will be revealed. And they're going to keep underplaying this. They're going to say some deep state plot, but the deep state did not get thousands of people to storm the Capitol. They did not do that on that day. It was the Trump administration that did that. And we have to keep reminding people that that's what happened, because I don't think that their narrative is not very strong. It falls apart pretty quickly. They're still talking about Michael Steele over at Fox News, which is like, not Michael Steele, sorry, Christopher Steele. So here's Garland's quote today. Can you still hear me? You can, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since my first day in office, I have promised Justice Department employees that together we would show the American people by word and deed that the department adheres to the rule of law and follows the facts and the law and pursues, I can't read that, equal justice under the law, says Attorney General Merrick Garland. Today's charges reflect the department's steadfast commitment to these principles. I mean, it's a bit boilerplate-ish, and it sounds like Merrick Garland is very safe. But he is saying that, there are these other investigations going on by Durham into, various Democratic crimes. And here are these other investigations taking place right now into the Republicans. And each of them will have their day in court.
I just need more. I need more. This doesn't. I'm really glad that he did this.
Is not satisfied, everybody.
Yeah. I'm not satisfied.
Okay. Greg's not satisfied. It's not
satisfied. Indicting Leprosy Boy because of not showing up for the subpoena is not. I'm sorry, it's not enough for me. It's not
enough.
You're right. We need a lot more. Originally when the show was planned today, I was going to say if Bannon isn't indicted, this would be, I think, a tipping point for people to go into the streets. I really did. I really thought that this was going to be that significant, that if we let Bannon go to get away with a crime that was so obvious and not do anything, then I thought that was really going to be tricky to justify. So, this version is much nicer. It's a nicer, happier ending. Hopefully it is.
Did you? A lot of people were feeling like something was going to happen today. Maybe because I have a cold, I was completely checked out of anything happening today. So
I'm so tired of it's going to happen on Friday. I can't anymore.
But it just happens. It finally happened.
Right.
And now you're like, you have a sort of buyer's remorse.
Are you having a glass of wine, Greg Oliar?
I'm having a bottle of wine. I don't know what you're talking about.
That is very rare.
Is it? It's normally
lemonade.
a Manhattan. What are you having? Are you having Manhattan?
I'm having lemonade.
Oh, I'm having
I'm justifying it as having vitamin C in it. I've been taking a lot of vitamin C. I'm sorry about my hair, everybody.
Your hair looks great. What kind of wine is that? I can't see.
My screen's so small.
It's French. Moulin de Gassac.
Oh, interesting. French for any particular reason?
It's pink. I like rosé.
Oh.
I do. I like rosé as well. I really do. I don't care what anybody thinks. I like rosé.
Yeah.
So we could keep
His
talking about
manly wine. Somebody's saying, "Your manly wine."
Tell us about your masculinity.
This is what happens. I watch Josh Hawley all week, and I'm drinking pink wine on your shows.
Pink wine is perfect.
As a sign of masculinity. Wow. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Men used to wear pink. Men used to wear pink.
I love pink. I think pink's a great color. Pink's a great color.
Pink was, when there was blood out of war, and the stains would go out, it would be pink. So it was very manly. And then they switched it.
Oh, why did they switch it?
I don't know. I mean, this might be wrong. This might be apocryphal.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think it used to be the color for men, but I can't remember why they switched it. That's interesting. I like pink. I think it looks good on guys. You should wear pink next week, maybe on the show, Greg. Would you? With your masculinity?
Pink doesn't come out. I actually have a pink shirt, but it looks white on the screen.
Yeah,
it looks white. It doesn't look good.
Oh no, you got pink. It looks a little white, but it's it does look pink when you look up close.
Watching me out. I thought it was.
This is why don't we do a pink show next week? See how masculine you really are, Mr. Oliar.
We do a pink show.
Can we do a pink show? Okay, we'll do pink.
I have a pink shirt somewhere.
Okay, there you go.
And then I bought it for the show, and then it looks white. So.
No, it is. It's a difficult color for TV. That's why I stick with my dark blues and blacks. We can talk about Bannon forever. I've got so much stuff here on Bannon, but then we can talk about anything else as well. Do you want to just talk about? I mean, I was going to talk a little bit about Kyle. You're going to talk about the sports guy. What's his name?
Aaron.
Aaron Rodgers. Did I get it right? Okay, I think I got it right.
The thing that's funny about Aaron Rodgers is we took the week off last week after this narrative sports thing that isn't even really a thing. And
it's not a thing.
The instant we decided to take the week off, it's one of the biggest sports stories in months in terms of crossover.
Yes.
Where people are looking at it like, who the fuck is Aaron Rodgers? The people that write, that tweet things like they're playing the sports ball. Yeah, we get it. Yeah. You don't like sports. Just let us enjoy it.
It just makes no, it's not that important to me, but I know it is important to other people. Who's this Aaron Rodgers person?
I don't know that we would be so tribalized if we, as a society, if we didn't have sports. I'll say it that way.
I agree.
People in this country are like team up. From little kids are taught to be on their team, and we beat you and all this shit. So I think it's.
Why is it so different from everyone else's sports? Why can't they have the same sports as everybody else? Like, why do we need to have American football, which is so confusing and also weird? And then there's all these other great games around the world.
Better than the boring football where no one scores and you can't use your hands. What's weird is let's have a sport where you can't use your hands at all.
I know, can we just agree so we don't have to have like a World Series that only involves American teams?
Other
weird
countries should play American football. Duh. It's very simple.
But even if we had other countries play, is it baseball World Series? I think that's it. Why wouldn't they have like all the teams from the world competing in the World Series? Why is it the American teams competing?
Toronto's in there. Toronto gets a shot.
Oh. Okay, that's true. Toronto's part of the world. Yes, that's true. But part of
the players are from all over the world, though, in the various leagues.
Is that the reason they say it? Is that the reason? Okay.
They are.
I mean, I don't want to be down on American sports.
Some of the best players in the NBA are not American.
I've been to see one of these things. I've been to see a baseball game. It was fun. It was interesting. There's lots of people milling around the field. Is that what it is?
The green patch. Yeah.
People swinging at things. It was good to. It's good to watch. I enjoyed it
You need
for
to
about an
brush up
hour.
on your Josh Hawley's, Ev, I think.
I know. Just
Okay, so
on the
Greg,
Josh
you
Hawley
were
school of
about to say
masculinity,
Aaron
scale
Rodgers.
of
Aaron Rodgers.
masculinity.
I'm sorry. Before I threw
I mean,
the
the story's
tribal.
already over, but what's funny about Aaron Rodgers is this is a guy. He's a quarterback for the Packers. He's very good, one of the best to ever do it. He's only won one championship, 3 MVPs, one championship, and he's a prima donna. He's a diva. He's always been that way.
Yeah.
So this thing that happened is an extension of his personality, which is he's a diva. He wants everybody. He creates drama everywhere he goes, and he's always been that way. So this is yet another thing that creates drama, except that it's not just about losing the locker room or pissing off Packers management or whatever. It's about people actually might get sick because of some dumb thing you did where you lied, because he said he was asked in training camp, were you vaccinated? And he said, yeah, I've been immunized and I think vaccines are really good and blah, 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 blah. But when he said immunized, he meant that he did some woo-woo thing where he was, I don't know what he did, that maybe he got COVID previously and thought he was immunized because he had it.
Right.
So people thought that he meant one thing, but he didn't. And then he has not been following the protocols. He's just been,
Does
masks,
this matter
I don't
anymore?
believe in that, so I'm just not going to do it.
He was He was being clever and crafty and intentional in his lies and his weaving his whole thing, and thought that he wouldn't get caught, and then he got caught. And so
and then
that's the thing. It's like, oh, you're a snake. You're a snake. We see.
And then he went on the Pat McAfee show and doubled down on his stupidity and was like, yeah, they're coming after me with the cancel culture. They're going to put a nail in the cancel culture casket. And it's like, oh my God, that sound you hear is all of his endorsement money drying up.
Yeah, it just all disappeared, I'm sure.
Except it didn't. It didn't. State Farm is fine with it. State Farm is like, oh,
so strange.
Even though we show insurance, which is totally based on trust, we're fine with our head pitchman being a complete fucking liar.
I know,
totally
isn't
cool
that
with us.
totally weird? That's totally strange. Listen,
Like
I'm
a good
not,
neighbor.
obviously I don't know what you're talking about really, but I do think that maybe it's okay to step away from the vaccine mandate like conflict that we're having, like a little bit back. It's okay now. It seems like things are a little bit more stable. Like I'm not seeing any crazy, I mean, unless I'm wrong here, but I'm not seeing any worrying numbers right now. They're still very high.
Actually,
but
in sports, the numbers are going up. In football, and the NFL has been really, really good about COVID. They whatever the NFL did last year before vaccines with COVID, everybody should have been doing. They aced that test. And the NFL is a hidebound, conservative, Republican asshole organization by and large. Mm-hmm. But boy, did they get that right. I mean, to the point where people are, I almost sound like Trump now. The people are saying they're marveling at it. It's wonderful what the NFL did. It's wonderful, but it really is. They have there's 5 dozen players on each team, and it's not like football. You're just it's impossible to create social distance when you're in the trenches playing football, and yet very few people got sick. They really managed it well. But now that people have vaccines, it's taken a step back, and you can still get COVID if you've had the vaccine, as we know, and that's what's happening now. And you have players going out in basketball too. Players are getting COVID; they're going out.
But they're not. No one's really like the severity of COVID seems to have been.
Oh no, the severity is down, but it's not true that it's not affecting things. Because
I guess I'm saying, do you think maybe it's okay for the culture for us to stop hating each other so much about this mandate thing, because it's not good for anybody that we're having a political fight over health issues, and maybe things are a little bit calmed down, and they've got new treatments coming along. Maybe as we head into this new year, we can move beyond this sort of anti-vax fight that we've been having, and maybe have a more fair election around serious things.
I think I'm gonna go meta, everybody.
Oh, meta! Here she goes.
I know.
You mean Mark Zuckerberg meta?
I'm going way up.
You do it.
From a big upper perspective, I actually think we need to resolve some things and not sweep them under the rug, and not say, okay, well that was an inflamed moment and we just moved on. Because here's what I see: I see all this shit. It's like a monster that you avoid, or a disease that you avoid, and then you can kind of get it to go dormant for a while. But when it comes back, it's like a chimera, right? Like it's come. So if we don't settle the debate around some of this stuff that we are in these fierce debates about, and we don't kind of come to find a way to come to an understanding of where lines are drawn. And a lot of that, almost all of that now in the present day, and I think in the future, is going to be about finding ways to really battle disinformation. I mean, I talk about Meta. We need to unplug that fucking thing real fast, right? That Facebook thing. So,
Absolutely.
because people's minds are just, the disinformation is getting to a point to where it's keeping us from even coming to any kind of common ground. And I don't think we're exhausted, we're just going to move on, is actually a resolution. I think it will just come back around the next time we have something, and it will be this raging thing that actually puts even more lives in danger, and our democracy in danger again. So, at some point, we're going to have to start in our confrontation of one another, where everything is getting polarized and weaponized, and the disinformation is there fostering all of that. At some point, we're going to have to figure out how to confront and resolve in a meaningful way so that we don't have a resurgence.
Yeah.
I see.
It just doesn't have to be at school boards, and it just feels to me like these poor school boards. They're having those Proud Boys showing up with masks, and it's just
that's their side though.
I know, but
it's the wackies.
Let's just stop discussing it. Let's just let's just not take the bait and have a conversation over it.
Okay, so this is what I was prepared to talk about today. I thought was to share a little personal story. So it's a good transition.
Yep.
So I'm old enough to have gone through, and I'll share a little personal detail, is that a big part of my growing up from age 6 to 16, I grew up in Wichita, Kansas. And so talk about the heart of America, the heartland, that's it, dead center. And I grew up in the Reagan era, and I grew up sort of Carter and Reagan, and I grew up at the core of Republican think tank land where the Kochs were with all of their money. These were not foreign people to me, right? They weren't weird people on the TV. And my dad was a minister. Okay. So imagine that. Imagine what me with the same, I am not much different, right? I have matured, but my sensibilities and in Wichita, Kansas in the 1980s, right? Everything was commie. And in high school, like my junior year, just starting my junior, and I moved after my junior year we moved to Kansas City. But during my junior year, I think it was sophomore or junior year, I learned about this thing. Oh, there's a debate team. Like they didn't even foster kind of information about that. We would sit in history, and the history say, just skip over whole parts of a history book, right? Of American history, if it had to do with anything that didn't quite fit. There were Confederate flags everywhere. I'm sorry, there were people with gun racks, kids driving to school with their gun racks on the back of their trucks. And this was the culture. And I'm in a big public school. And so the debate coach, who was I think he was English teacher or something, he's like, you should join the debate team. I was like, what's that? Debate? Okay. All right. So I joined the debate team, and the first debate we go to, they were sort of like mid-season. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden thrown into this. And we go and do this debate, and it was a big debate. It was like regionals or something. Like it was a lot. It was a lot of things. And I was Representative Black is my maiden name. I think people know that. And so I did my little debate thing, and then I asked one question. And I got to tell you, every single child that stood up to debate any topic, any issue, any of it, it all resulted to and dissolved down to, in their argument, it's about communism. We have to beat communism. Communism because the commies are coming, and the commies and everything was communism. I'm sitting there going, these are the strangest motherfuckers, right? So I raised my little hand, and I'm like, and this one kid, and we're in the finals or whatever, and this kid's going on and on about commie, and it was like prayer in school or something. I don't know, some horse shit. And I go, what's wrong with communism? And the whole place was dead silent.
Clang.
And he had to answer that question, right? And it was like, and he was like, I'm like, well, that's not an answer. I said, and I was like, I know what's wrong with communism. I would like you to tell everybody what's wrong with communism and why that's central to your argument here. And he couldn't do it. And I won that fucking debate.
Of course
I won the whole thing. The teachers I don't know the teachers would do this now, but they were like, they gave it to me. Okay. Because I pierced the horse shit, right? With one simple question, right? 4 words. What's wrong with communism? No one could fucking answer that because they didn't have a clue. It's like the CRT debate of today. You ask, what's wrong with CRT? They don't know.
No.
They don't know what it is. They just know, so this is not new where we're at. Well, here's also what was not new. So next school day, I think the weekend went by, school day, I show up at school and my teacher sits me down and the principal's there. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And they show me a flyer that had a skull and a crossbone on it and said, kill Representative Black. And these had been mass produced and were being distributed throughout all the high schools that these kids at the debate that I beat. So it was a death threat, right? Of course, the school didn't bother to tell my parents this. My parents kind of vaguely remember it. I'm like, you remember this? They're like, yeah, we remember that. That was so strange. And I was like, well, fuck this. I'm not going to be in the debate squad if my life is going to be threatened by a bunch of redneck, small dicked fuckers, right? Like I was like this then. I really was. And the teacher's like, yeah, we won't make you do it. I'm like, fuck you and your fucking debate, right? And I don't know. I got drunk, went to prom, whatever. So this whole thing that we're living through, and there was no social media, there was nothing. We've been through this before. I'm telling you, you guys, if you haven't, I grew up there. Then I came out to, my parents are New Yorkers. I came out to Los Angeles, but I'm always going back and forth to New York. And I just for so long, I would listen and people in my industry not understand that. And I would listen to people think they could talk about flyover country and this is what's going to sell right to the middle America. And I'm like, you don't have the first fucking clue what you're talking about. It's why when Donald Trump came down the escalator, I was like, he's going to win. I knew what he was waking up.
Yeah.
Because I'm from there and I've lived that. Nothing of what we're going through now with these school boards and all this weaponization and all this sort of intentionally trying to corrupt our public education and the kids around that and weaponizing it and death threats and all that. None of that is new. It's exactly what I lived through, 40 years ago, right? But now it's a greater threat because we didn't deal with it then. We didn't deal with our ignorance. We didn't deal with any of this. We didn't deal with these clashes in our culture around any of these things. We didn't clarify it. And now there's social media. Now there's these weapons. Now we actually have folks that have been so weaponized and so ignorant that they want authoritarianism. They want fascism. That has been collapsed with patriotism. And they don't know the difference. Just like those kids that were standing up didn't know the difference between communism and capitalism. They couldn't tell me. They didn't know. They don't know the difference between fascism and authoritarianism and democracy. They don't know. They're just on their team and they're going for blood, and we've been otherized. So we gotta start being able to confront one another and actually come to an agreement on facts. And a big part of it now is we've got to take out these machines, these literal machines for pushing for fascism, which are these social media companies. I'm sorry.
Thank you, LB. Thank you for sharing that. What a great, harrowing story, but what an interesting and revealing story. You probably haven't changed much because that's great. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm so fascinated because people follow their leaders, right? People do what their leaders do a lot of the time. They don't necessarily want to invest all their time looking into all these things like we do. So they follow their leaders out there. And if their leadership is telling them that authoritarianism is the way to go, they're likely to go there. So, I mean, I think it really comes from the top down, and it comes from the very, very top. That party has to change itself, and it can't keep hiding in this sort of, apartheid era thinking that it's stuck in. It's like, we can't stay there. We cannot stay there as a country. And, that means Kevin McCarthy has to come to terms with what happened on that day and resign because he was aware of what happened that day and involved in it. And so must many of them. They just must go. There is no good resolution for any of these politicians. They are not, they've proven themselves to be unqualified to lead their people. And, regardless of what the race is or whatever it is, they're just liars and cheats and thieves now. That's what they are.
And the truth has to get out in a way that will stick. Mm-hmm. Right. We had when Trump's impeachment around the insurrection happened and all that, they didn't vote to impeach him, the Republicans in the Senate, but they did agree that he incited an insurrection. Right. And they admitted that. And even right after the insurrection with the vote certification before the impeachment, that even Kevin McCarthy, everyone was saying, yep, this was crossing the right. This was wrong. But it didn't, the truth didn't stick. They were just able to back out of all of that and start spinning their horse shit again. So we need things to happen in a way where the truth will stick, at least stick in the historical record, and not get warped. And that means indictments.
It does mean indictments, but it also means we can play some Kevin McCarthy historical video and remind people, because I happen to have it here. Okay. And just remind people of what he said, because these were his words. These were not our words. Right. I think this was not direct. I might have a little difficulty here. Let me. I might.
The only people Russia pays are Dana Rohrabacher and Donald Trump. Oh, it's not that. It's something else.
It's not that tape. It's the other. It's another Kevin McCarthy. I'm just worried that it might not play as well as I want to do. But let me try and see what happens.
To impeach will further fan the flames of partisan division. Most Americans want neither inaction nor retribution. They want durable, bipartisan justice. That path is still available, but is not the path we are on today. I believe impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake. No investigations
that sounded better in the original
have been completed. No hearings have been held. What's more, the Senate has confirmed that no trial will begin
this is the last part of this,
after President-elect Biden is sworn in. But here is what a vote to impeach would do. A vote to impeach would further divide this nation.
Okay, we'll cut it because
a vote to impeach will further fan the flames of partisan division.
It's the last
wrong asshole.
Most Americans
fuck you.
We should have things we could throw at him.
Thank me on my high knee.
They want durable, bipartisan justice.
Make it stop.
Do you see durable bipartisan justice is what he wants?
But is not
he wants durable
today.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the president
Here we go. This is the bit.
from fault. The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. These facts require immediate action by President Trump. Accept his share of responsibility, quell the brewing unrest, and ensure President-elect Biden is able to successfully begin his term.
Well, I mean, it sounds. Who is that guy?
Did he just ask Trump to condemn the mob? Because I don't think he's allowed to do that.
Yeah. Right. No, you're not allowed to. It's against the rules. But, he said it. Those were his words. They're 2 days afterwards. And then, he's obviously changed his tune a little bit. But I think we can keep reminding people of what these guys said and what they really mean versus what they're doing right now in public. Can I show you something really cool? We've been talking about narrative TV, like a TV network kind of thing for a while. So I've been late at night trying to figure out how to code things, and there's a new narrative TV page, and I'm going to show it to you in here. Just
this is a surprise.
It is a surprise. Well, it's because this is very much a beta thing. I'm just trying it out for the first time, and literally, I'm not a coder, as many of you will know. So I am. But if you go to narrative.org/narrative TV, you'll see this new player that's there. And in that little player, you can send us direct messages that are completely in real time. And so you can say, hi, LB. And there's absolutely no delay. Where in other chats, there's a lot of delay. So ask me for my name. And then you just...
It's a more expansive view of my room, Zev. I don't know if I like that.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. This looks really cool.
So, and then the other cool thing that we can do, although I'm not quite ready to do it today, is we can do instant polling. So we can ask people to vote on things, and they can vote right on screen.
Oh, good.
And there's even a little store. We can do I don't know what we would sell. Oh, I know what we would sell.
Some merch. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of merch, I also had a little extra time today to come up with a mug. So I'm going to try to find that.
I got to buy another mug now?
You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy anything. But I'm just going to show it to you. The mugs are very nice, although these ones are.
I like the mug. I have the mug here.
You do? Good.
I need the mug.
I've got your mug. I've got a mug for you, actually.
I want a mug. I gotta get my mugs. I gotta get it all together, you guys. It's
perfectly okay. I'm going to try to show you to this new one. Anyhow, so we'll be able to do shopping on screen. It's the first time ever I think anyone's ever tried to do that. So I don't know what we'll sell, but we might want to sell if I can find.
If we say mug, will mug show up?
Yes. So just say mug now.
Mug.
There it is.
Okay. Oh, I don't want that mug. I don't want to look at those people.
No, it's the Outlaws
No.
official commemorative mug of Bannon's Indictment
Ugh.
Day. Okay, you don't have to buy that mug, but I thought maybe I'll put it up. Don't you want the official Outlaws mug? I want it.
Maybe.
There is no reality in which I want to look at Mike Flynn's face.
No,
Nothing.
not first thing in the
There's no
morning.
reality.
No, or Kellyanne Conway, or
All right, so who do we think is going to get who didn't show up? I think Scavino's tricky, but Ali Alexander, go for him. Or is he cooperating? We don't know.
Ali Alexander, I think, is cooperating. I think from the Rolling Stone article that came out a few weeks ago, which described in intimate detail how many Congress men they were talking to, I think Ali Alexander is the source for that, because he certainly is not being called up for any other things. So that is my guess. Now, who knows? I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing. These people are asking us questions.
Flynn, or did I forget?
You see, someone's saying here, I can even do this. Look, I can do this. I think I can do this. Does this come on?
What did you ask, LB? I missed the question.
Did they subpoena Flynn? They didn't subpoena him yet.
They didn't
right?
subpoena Flynn. Look, Donald is saying, did someone say indictments? And then it says, Greg, do a commercial. Look, this one says, okay, Greg, do a commercial. And then it also says, Adele saying, these are all new people who just signed up for the first time. Okay, this is very cool. Never shut up. Isn't that nice? We could do that on screen all the time. It's very fancy technology. I'm so proud of it. Okay. I'll keep quiet now.
We're thrilled.
It's my geek moment. I'm geeked out.
I was trying to see if people were giving comments for you, but they're a little behind.
What's the time now? We have a few more minutes. Do you want to watch an ad? Ill.
What's the time? It's time to get ill. You guys are my age. You don't know the Beastie Boys?
No, I'm not a Beastie Boys fan. I was thinking of Wichita Lineman when you were talking about your upbringing there. That's a good song.
Wichita, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite Kansas-related song? Do you have a favorite?
Carry On, Wayward Son?
No. John Denver had a really beautiful song where he talked about a boy from Kansas. He's got a couple lines in there, but it reminds me of my brother.
Oh, okay. Well, do I remember the name? Do we remember the name? You don't remember the name.
Are you trying to play a song now, Zev?
I was going to play a song.
Yeah.
If you're going to play a song, the song you need to play is Seven Nation Army.
Seven
Nation Army. We go to Wichita.
Seven Nation Army. Is that okay?
We're gonna bet the straw.
By the White Stripes.
All right. Oh, White Stripes. I know them. Now, how do I make this play? I think I just got to do this.
Dun, 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 dun,
he says
dun,
Wichita.
Dun.
Why don't you tell everyone again about the Prevail podcast today, and then I'm going to try to figure this out. Because you got to.
Oh, it's a good podcast. We talk about Tucker. If you don't know anything about Tucker,
yeah,
I can't talk now. So I'm grouping on.
Well, because I'm not yet playing it. I'm still not playing it on the right thing.
We can do it.
Okay.
Oh, you can.
I like it though.
Oh, I'll play it this way.
Are you playing it on your phone?
Yeah, it's very high tech.
After that high tech interface, after the new narrative platform interface, here's our phone.
Oh wait, I can actually do it with speakers. It might even be better. do one better than that. Oh my god, we really high tech future right here, only on narrative.
Only narrative.
Only we've got this kind of technology over here. You try find this technology where you are. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Oh my
else.
god, DARPA's got nothing to us.
I can't do any better than that. So there you go. I wanted you all to do better, but that's all we got. I think it's the end of the show. We should go. What's oh,
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's that time. It's that time. It's that time.
Yeah.
Boy, what? Tell me something else that was not political. That is just kind of interesting because I feel like we've spoken only about the news. Tell me something else.
I don't know.
Hey, tomorrow, I'll tell you something.
How's the dog? How's it? Okay.
Oh yeah, talk about the dog.
Oh, the dog?
Yes.
Your dog?
Oh, she's lovely. She did come back to LA with us because it's a little too tough, and we're going right back to New York. So she's snuggling up with Nana and Beepaw in New York on the farm, and she's just, gosh, that dog is great.
She's a beautiful dog. I gotta say, just gorgeous.
Yeah, I just love her, and adopt older dogs, everybody.
Right. No one wants those older dogs, but some of them are so fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's not that old. She's almost 4, but it's not, it's not the puppy. We could have gone the
Yes.
puppy route, but we went the retired
Give
the
her this name.
retired female. I don't like the word, even though it's the right word, the B word.
Yeah, the B word's not a great
Yeah,
word.
I don't
No.
like that word.
Greg did the best commercial as Aaron. Apparently, I did hear it.
Oh,
I don't remember paying as much
yes,
attention.
Greg.
Tell us-
LB's idea. It
What
was
an
LB's idea.
inspiration you had there. Yeah,
Right,
no,
it
I
was your
called him.
idea.
I called him at like 4 a.m. or something. I was like, "This is your commercial." I was like sick. I'm like, "It's State Farm and Aaron, Woke Insurance for Aaron Rodgers."
Oh, really? Woken sure.
Woke
Oh, I love
Insurance.
that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then we
God.
didn't get into the ones for the kids, right? The kids get, what did I say? Insure the children against something,
I can't
CRT or something. I don't know.
Oh gosh, you know how much news has happened in just a couple of weeks? It's kind of stunning, right? When you think about it, how quickly
Okay.
Keep it
the
coming,
news
keep it
cycle
coming.
is developing. It's kind of crazy. It blows my mind away. I'm going to end with Rachel Bitkofer. She comes on the show occasionally, does analysis on messaging of the Democrats. She and her pack have done this really cool ad about changing the narrative around, about trying to figure out how to change the conversation from what the Republicans are basically controlling. Do you want to watch a little bit of this?
Sure.
Do I?
All right, it's time for a head-to-head. Who's really winning on the economy? Is it Democrats or Republicans? Stat number 1, overall economic growth. That's an early win for Dems with nearly double the score. And who's created more jobs? Whoa, slam dunk Democrats. Millions more in the past decades. It's starting to feel like a blowout. But what about the stock market? Dems hit it out of the park. Didn't see that coming. It's a triple crown win-win-win for the Dems. So what do Republicans bring? Oh, 10 out of the last 11 recessions. Could be performance issues, but also big misses with nothing but tax cuts for the filthy rich. That's a lot of losing. Don't be a loser.
Quite good, eh?
I like it.
I
Actually.
like it.
I like that there was the deflated soccer ball
Yes.
with the Republicans, and she
And the-
left the 3 good
Back
sports
to
to
the
the Democrats.
soccer.
And the
That's good.
performance issues, I mean, all sorts of little double entendres there that are very good. But I think it's important, she's got a very smart way of turning the narrative around on some of these Republican talking points, because really there's no reason for them to have such control of the narrative. Everyone's just so shocked by what they say all the time that we just let them get away with it.
That's right. There was something else. What someone said: if the Dems don't do a quick ad on, because it was Josh Hawley and the masculinity
Yes.
and like Big Bird and stuff, and someone had like a real Josh Hawley's trying to take your porn. He's coming for your
Yeah.
porn, everybody. Right? Like because that works too. And I thought, okay,
Literally,
I
he's going to
kinda
go
like
to your
this.
house and take your porn because
He's
he
gonna
wants
go to your
more
house
of
and
it.
take
He wants
porn.
your porn.
Sort
Yeah.
of fusing them with these the nasty things as if they're their things is I think there's something to that. Just make it so embarrassing.
I like that a lot, actually. That's a really good
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's certainly a lot to embarrass them about, including the indictment of their former senior advisor to the President of the United States, the former president,
Yeah.
Steve Bannon, which is the big headline today. May there be more of these guys. It'd be
Amen.
it'd be good to see some more indictments if they don't cooperate. Of course, if they cooperate and tell everyone what really happened on that day, that'll be nice too, because we can figure out exactly how far it went and how high it went. That is the after show this Friday evening. I'll be back on Tuesday. We're doing a really interesting show about how to bring people together in America by trying to use some corporate strategies. What have you got planned for the weekend, you guys?
Well, I'm going to watch movies and
Yeah.
get better. I've missed a lot of television and stuff and just entertainment. I just need to check out a little bit. And we did finally see the James Bond movie.
I haven't seen it. See?
Because we can get that. So, so Greg, you and I can talk about that now. I won't scream at you. No, la la la. Don't tell me. So, and then I think there's the Saturday Night Live. We didn't get a chance to talk about that last week, but they have a new. I know we all get
Oh,
sick
the
of
Trump
Donald
thing.
impersonators. But
Oh, it's so good though.
Yeah, he's great.
So
it's
good.
so good. It's such a different take. So maybe I'll
Ah,
watch some Saturday Night Live. That's. I'm going to be in bed. I'm going to be getting better. That's what we're doing.
Get better and enjoy all this TV. I'm sure it's going to be great to
Yeah.
catch up on all that stuff. It sounds actually
It'll
like
be
a
fun.
great idea.
Yeah.
What do you have in store, Greg?
Well, tomorrow is the birthday of Merrick Garland
Oh,
and Greg
Happy
Abbott
birthday.
of Texas and Whoopi Goldberg and also me. So I'm going to.
it's your birthday. Oh, we didn't know there was your birthday.
Tomorrow is my.
This would have been a birthday edition. Oh,
I do not want that. So,
You don't want that? You got all the sound effects.
Hey,
All right.
fun.
Okay.
Happy birthday, old
Happy
man.
birthday.
Thank you.
You look fantastic. And
I do
make
not.
everything you
Are
need
gonna
to
say
happen
what
for you this
or
year.
not? Are you going to say how old you are or not?
Zev knows how old I am because I am 2 months younger than him.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out because I appreciate that. That's very masculine of you and noble. I know what my number is. What's your number? Is it the same?
We're the same age. It's the same number. It's not. I'm entering my. I can't say now because I put Zev on the spot.
No.
You put Tim on the spot, but I don't think it's the big one, right? You're
No.
doing the big-
I have
Fine.
tomorrow. Will have concluded my 49th year on this planet, and I will be
Right.
entering year 50. Although I will not be 50 until next.
I like the way you think ahead and you sort of prepare yourself to get into it already.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Well,
I'm
my
still,
wife is
reliving my
older than me,
48
so
year.
every time her birthday comes, I remind her that no, you turn 49. I'll say that just means it's the end of your 49th year. You're really 50
Yeah.
because you're entering your
Yeah.
your
That's
50th
so-
year.
I know people
She
like
She
you
gets
who
mad,
like to
and
remind
it's
me of
never
those
not
things.
funny. It's never not funny for me, and it's never funny for her.
Never funny for anybody else. I'm counting backwards now. I once you start 49, you start going in reverse. And
Why
no,
not?
I don't
Why not?
care. I don't
It's,
care.
I mean, I don't
I'll be
care
fine.
either, but it's just nice to be 48 again while you're 49 tomorrow. So happy 49th birthday,
That's
old
fine.
man.
You look great for 48. You look great. It's the Oscar Wilde line. The guy says, I'm on the other side of 40. And she said, oh, you look weeks younger than that.
On that note, have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you again next time on Narrative. Good night,
Thanks for
guys.
watching, guys.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Dev. Bye, everyone.
Narrative is made possible by viewers like you. Join today and support truly independent journalism at patreon.com/narrative. That's patreon.com/narrative.